So this is gonna be probably one of the things, if not the only thing, that's stopping you from being a data-driven company, right? Now you're probably thinking, well, what is this about? Well, this is about data silos, which I'm gonna explain to you why this is the reason that is stopping you of becoming a data-driven company, to get unified view of your data, to get actionable insights, to increase your revenue, decrease your churn, and basically just stopping you so that you can able to utilize data to its fullest capability and gain that competitive edge, right? And now you're probably asking, why should you listen to me? Well, I personally drove, and my team have drove way over 10 million in pure profit, which just using the data and turning that into the actionable insights with the solutions, analytical solutions that we built here at Estella. We created multiple, way over 15 custom analytical solutions, dashboards, and etc. By aligning goals of the companies with data, aka bridging the gap between data and business, right? I personally have not a traditional background. Okay, I didn't start as a data engineer. I started in sales, then I moved into the revenue operations, and then I moved into the data engineering department. We work with private equities, financial firms, sales-based businesses, agencies, software companies, and so on and on. And of course, right now our goal is just to help companies utilize data more, turn that data into the actionable insights, create custom data ecosystems, data analytical dashboards, and so on, so they're able to use their data to gain a competitive advantage in the market. Now, here are some of the things that our clients have to say, just quickly. You can scroll by or slow down the video to see, and here are some of the solutions dashboards that we built and other more advanced stuff. Of course, now let's go into the video. Now, your current way, why this is a problem, right? Now, your current way, you're probably spending hours drowning in spreadsheets, right? You're just struggling. Simply, your data is all over the place. You cannot make data-driven decisions. You are spending way over 20 plus hours in a week basis just to gather any view of the data. It's all over the place. It might be in one spreadsheet, then that spreadsheet is outdated. The other executive comes in and that's outdated as well, and so on, right? You don't really have your trust in data, meaning you don't really know 100%, and you cannot really confidently say that's accurate, if you know what I mean. And you probably know the feeling very well. Now, relying on the off-the-shelf tools, meaning you're using Google Sheets, you're using manual processes, you're using maybe even a dashboarding tool like agency view, Airtable, or so on, but it doesn't really generate any return on investment for you, right? You are probably thinking, well, I use data, I track this, I track that, but it doesn't really generate any revenue for you. Now, in this video, I'm going to answer why is that. Now, as I said, a lack of trust. So data is scattered around, and of course, the system that you currently have, which is probably manual system, or even if it's automated, or it's part-time manual, is still not scalable. Meaning either you don't have enough storage, you have very increased in costs in your architecture, you're doing it manually. It's just not scalable, so you're able to grow as a company, right? And what also might happen, let's say you're probably having multiple spreadsheets. You decide to enter that spreadsheet daily on daily basis. You have your team enter that spreadsheet on a daily basis. That gets passed around on multiple executives and employees at the company. And one day somebody forgets it. New executive comes in. He starts creating his own trackers, and then just the data gets dismissed. Nobody believes in that specific data. Spreadsheet is inaccurate, and you're back at square one, right? Now, what is the desired way? Right, this is the desired way, which everybody wants to achieve, right? Let me just quickly do this like this. Now, the desired way is unified view. Basically, you have a view of your company literally in one place, and you can access it with one click. You can see your close rates, you can see your sales data, your finance, your product data, your logistical data, your every single data that is top priority, that generates actionable insights and provides real return on investment, and it's to drive growth for your company for a specific problem that you want to solve. You're able to access it with one single click. You have availability to the actionable insights, meaning you are able to see not data, not metrics, but insights that will gain you the edge. What's the difference between those two? One tells you something, the other propels you to act. Let's say, for an example, one will tell you churn rate is 14%, the other will tell you these customers that used feature and watched the onboarding video stayed 2x longer than the other ones. As you can see here, you know exactly what to fix to reduce your churn. You can streamline your operations, meaning because your data is going to be automatically flown from data sources transformed into the analytical type of data, meaning into the actionable insights and metrics that you can use for data-driven decisions. You don't need any manual processes. And for that reason, you will have no more operational problems, because any operational problem, it's a data problem as well, because that's the only why that is, because processes is just data flowing from point A to point B. And if you have that part automated, as you can get the point, you will have streamlined your operations. Now, of course, you're gonna have as a byproduct increased revenue, profits, and decreased churn. Common sense. Increased data maturity, which basically means and gain the competitive edge, meaning you're able to utilize data at a more significant level than your other competitors in the market, which will help you just to gain a competitive edge, because the data should answer every single question, every single bottleneck that you have. And if you ask why that's important, is because every single big player in the marketplace, HubSpot, Salesforce, Amazon, got there by using data. And of course, AI will perfectly set you up to utilize the AI, meaning custom solutions or any advanced analytical solutions that you want to build. It will require data, and in fact, it will require organized data, not just data, but organized data. And this will help you to achieve this. Now, what are data silos that are stopping you from that specific growth, okay, being a data-driven company? Well, data silos are basically a data repositories. Imagine like a box or storage of data, which is very hard to be accessed, right? And imagine that data, okay, those storages to be way over 300 in your company. Do you think that you're going to be able to access every single one of them manually? As you know, probably not. And if you do, you need to calculate the metrics, you need to see the data quality, you need to trust the data, you need to aggregate it, you need to analyze the data, and do all of these steps to be even making a data-driven decision, right? And that's just from one source. Now you need to do it for 300 orders. Now, the data is basically locked up in the multiple systems, let's say marketing, sales, finance, product, in those multiple boxes, storages, and they cannot talk to each other, right? And if you want to use data, you're gonna rarely be using one source. Let's say if you want to see your churn rate, you're gonna have your questions. Let's say, okay, how is your churn rate? Why is it like that? Why is it a problem, and so on. If you just look, let's say, your customer success data or your sales data or your finance data, it's not gonna answer you those questions. You need to look at every single source to get to that right context, so you're able to make a data-driven decisions. You need to look at your product data, you need to look at your sales data, you need to look at your finance data, and then combine all of those stuff to get, so you're able to understand why your churn rate is low, right? And just to comparison, you have so much data as in the company, because in under marketing you have other further categories as cold email, paid advertisement, content marketing, and so on. So you have so many minor data silos that you are not even aware of, which are locked up. And as you can see here, average business has over 300 data sources, which means 300 data silos, right? And why is it important? Well, which I already explained in the above example, is basically unified view is preventing you to have unified view. You have spending hours, hundreds of hours a week on manual processes, no actionable insights, low data quality, and missed opportunities. Now, how to remove the data silos? Well, first, you need to have a data strategy. You need to identify where your data is currently resides, and how to assess it and how it's managed. Map out all of those systems, sources that you have where the data is. Let's say your finance data might be in your Excel or your Stripe. Your product data might be in your product tool, usage tracking tool, your data warehousing tool, your ERP tool. Your sales data might be in your CRM, and of course Stripe as well. Then you have your marketing data in your paid advertisement, let's say Meta, Facebook, and other paid advertisement platforms, right? Identify those, create a standardization of audit, meaning check the quality of the data, check the redundancies, inconsistencies, and of course any outdated information. Just deduplicate it and delete it, because if the data inside of the data sources is incorrect, in incorrect formats and so on, it's just gonna be incorrect every single where. right? Of course, if you're pulling the data from the CRMs or any type of software that requires a manual input, you need to create a correct processes, systems, trainings, SOPs, and even coaching sometimes, so the data gets inputted correctly in it, right? So that's a very key thing. Now, of course, now the last step is, of course, you need to identify key things, prioritize things. Prioritize it by what's the most important for the company, what do you want to see, why do you want to see it, what's the success barrier, okay, success criteria do you decide of that specific goal of information that you want to see, and what are the next steps that you're going to do. Of course, you utilize prioritization matrix, which is basically matrix to help you to understand what's the most feasible and what's the highest business value. Only do things that are high business value and low on a feasibility level, right? And that will help you to determine where you can focus on. Either that are going to be, let's say, finance metrics, finance analytics, churn analytics, and so on. Of course, many companies are going to start with sales data, for my marketing and finance. These are the crucial ones that everybody should have at the start, right? But of course, every single company is custom, so you need to decide in using that framework. Now, once you conducted those two things, the biggest thing, you need to migrate the data to the data warehouse. Well, now, what is the data warehouse? Now, before I explain, here is just a simple version of a data architecture, right? Now, the data architecture is explained in a very simple manner, right? These are the data sources. This is the custom ETL, which stands for extract, transform, and load, which extracts the data from those the data sources, inputs the data inside of the data warehouse or lake, where it gets ready and inside it's modeled to the analytical type of data, meaning from raw type of data into the data that will provide you the insights. And then you can use the data for every single thing, like not just custom analytical dashboards, but also AI projects, automation projects, potentially reports, PDFs, of course, as custom softwares, AI, etc. Literally, sky is the limit. Predictive analytics, machine learning, and so on. Literally every single thing, right? If this is correctly built, you have a real competitive advantage. And this, if in this era, if you don't have this, you're gonna get left behind. I promise you. Now, this is a simplified view. How this is gonna look? It looks something similar to this. This is a live example, which you can have your data sources on the left side, as you can see here, and you have your ETLs, which can be custom coded, like in the example above, which is a real example. We custom coded it with Python, or you can, if it's utilized web scraping or so on, the data is pulled via API or any type of method, either web scraping or API, as long as the data is pulled using that custom ETL. Here the ETL is off the shelf. You can use off the shelf tools as Airbyte, Fivetran. These are the top big players in the market. Of course, there are some others, Azure Factory, Data Factory, and so on. There's multiple ones. Of course, then you have your data warehouse, which is basically BigQuery. Now, what is a data warehouse? The data warehouse is a storage. Basically, imagine like a storage where you are inputting all of those data sources, imagine like a data storage, like literally in the name, hence the name data warehouse. It has the capabilities to store data from multiple data sources, right? So they can be modeled between each other to provide analytical type of data, meaning from raw to analytics to provide insights, right? This is basically the goal, right? Of course, I can go on and on and on about data warehouses because there's so much in-depth topic, but in this case, you need to have a data warehouse. This is basically to summarize everything of what I'm trying to say. And of course, in this example, of course, you can see here dbt and Airflow. Airflow, just ignore this for this specific video. dbt is a data modeling tool that will help you transform the data from raw to the analytics, okay, insights. And the Airflow is just an orchestration tool that will help you manage all of those pipelines, which we call, this is one data pipeline, which basically just means so you're able to see that everything is moving smoothly, working smoothly, and if anything goes wrong, you're able to see it and fix it quickly. And of course, to try to present the data in this example, these are all the BI tools or visualization tools that you can use to visualize those data to make able to make data-driven decisions and provide get actionable insights, right? And basically, in short lines, you literally need a data warehouse. This is the goal, and of course, this is the data architecture that every single company needs to be able to become a data-driven company and to destroy and remove data silos. Now, here are some of the data analytics solutions you can use. Multiple BI tools, of course, depending on your custom goals, needs, and priorities, what you want to achieve and what is the goal and what you want to see overall. Of course, you can utilize BI tools as Power BI, Tableau, or Looker. These are the biggest players in the market. I also forgot to right click, which is a very good tool. We work with literally every single BI provider, so we prefer those three, right? Like this, we prefer those four: Power BI, Tableau, Click, or Looker. And here are some of the solutions that we created. Let's say this one, a CEO dashboard, which you can see my previous video, which I talk about it, how to create it, and the biggest key steps that you need to take to, and the reasons why it is so important. And of course, here are some more others: sales Twitter one, sales regional one, etc. Right. Now, to summarize everything, basically the data silos are stopping you to becoming a data-driven company. Implement the data architecture that I showcased you, aka the data warehouse, and of course, the goal is to increase the revenue, profits, and decrease churn. I hope you get the point of the video is to showcase you the importance and why you need to remove the data silos and the importance of having a unified view of your data, and of course, having an idea of how to build and start your data architecture. Of course, this all can go much more in depth, which would be a much more longer video, but I will provide that video as well. Of course, if you like the video and you want our team and don't want to go through the hassle or with no expertise, trying to build custom analytical dashboards and trying to turn your data into the insights and aka revenue, you can book a call with our exploration team, and we will happily assist you with that thing. Now, of course, you can also check some of our proofs of other videos on our YouTube channel. So take care and wish you all the best.